Good morning, and thank you for joining us today for our webinar on how to control and hopefully eradicate phishing. We're so glad you could join us. I'm Liz Deakin, I'm the founder and CEO of Lithify, and I'm thrilled that you're here with us today. Email security has never been more important than it is right now. We've seen a massive increase in the amount and types of phishing attacks that people are experiencing since lockdown. In particular, people are receiving what look like totally legitimate emails from people that they know, which maybe have one malicious file, which is then going on to harvest their credentials or to otherwise gain access to systems, and the results can be devastating. One organisation that I spoke to recently had a payment for £150,000 go into a false account rather than their own, and they were happily able to recover that one and stop a further payment for £500,000 that was also scheduled to go out from their customer to them. So really the problem that we're seeing is huge at the moment, and it's potentially life-changing, business damaging, to the extent that Gartner are now saying that a lot of businesses would not recover from an orchestrated attack such as the ones we're seeing. So I really hope you enjoy today's webinar. We are joined by the fantastic people from Checkpoint, who we love working with, who do an excellent job. CloudGuard SaaS is the only product that we recommend for email security right now. We just can't see anything else in the market that touches it for its 100% block rate, and really that gives us tremendous confidence. So thank you for being here, and with that, over to the team. Morning everyone. So thank you very much for that video. Well, I said it all without moving my lips, which is really quite astonishing, isn't it? And thank you very much for joining. I can see lots of you online now, so thank you very much for being here with us. I've heard overnight that, in fact, in the press they're now reporting that we've now got the first directly attributable deaths from phishing attacks and ransomware attacks, having just had an attack on a hospital in Düsseldorf which took their systems down. And sadly, one lady had to be transferred to another hospital, and unfortunately that meant that delay in her treatment meant that she didn't make it. So there's really been no more crucial time to take control of email security, and that's really what we're trying to do. I'm hearing customers saying to me that other vendors are saying that you just can't remediate against certain types of phishing attacks. And in fact, we're seeing that where perhaps people have had trials of the Checkpoint product, but they've run them in line with others. So in one case, for example, there was an organisation who had Microsoft ATP running into Malwarebytes and Sophos, and only then did it see Checkpoint. And the only one that stopped that one was Checkpoint. So that was a real eye-opener for us. And we've seen similar with organisations who have perhaps Sophos and Mimecast. Again, it's getting through both systems, and it's only Checkpoint that's stopping it. So I'm very excited to talk to you today, because this is crucial to everyone, and all sizes of companies are seeing this. It's not just your very large organisations. I've seen some really heinous attacks on smaller organisations, which are so difficult to recover from. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to our great colleague in Checkpoint, Gethin Jones, who we really like and respect. He's now the senior engineer for Checkpoint's Beyond the Perimeter family of products, which includes CloudGuard SaaS. I'm really looking forward to hearing him speak. I know he's got a lot to say. So welcome, Gethin. Thank you very much for being here this morning.
Good morning, and you're welcome. Highly respected. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, probably not after this presentation. So in that case, I'll just share my screen out and I'll begin, hopefully.
Excellent. Thank you.
Right, everybody see my screen?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Did somebody say yes? Good. Stop muting those microphones. We all want to see you. So as Liz was saying, let's start off with a not so fun fact. 90% of attacks of organisations start from malicious email. That seems to be reasonably understandable. And then you look at the date of this, which is last year. So seeing as 2020 and the way things are going, it's probably up to 178.4% of attacks now. It's 2020. Damn the mass. So the emails that come through, we're protecting ourselves. Is it just a stupid mistake made by the end users? Is it all their fault? Is it Dave in accounting clicking on all these links? Well, if we look at all the phishing that's been coming through over the years, some of it, yes, it was a stupid mistake. If you decided to get a $15,000 loan off the back of this email, that was probably a silly thing to do. I don't even know what this email was for, so I didn't click on that link, so I'm safe there. $5,000 by tomorrow would have been handy, especially this year, but no, I didn't click on this link either. I didn't expect Rita Petrov to give me $18 million, so I didn't reply. The Sun Loan Company, $100 million, and they give international loans, which is very, very handy. But funnily enough, I didn't reply to this either. I didn't reply to Mr. Adamu, who's how much money? $10,700,000. The money's just huge. It's just getting ridiculous. These were just silly mistakes. Even the International Monetary Fund, who I'm sure really haven't heard of me, send me some, how much here? 1.5 million, so even more money. It's silly, it's ridiculous. It's so silly, in fact, a comedian called James Veitch has done a whole sketch show around the emails that he's actually replied to, putting in ridiculous requests for encryption and special usernames, and it is funny. Okay, since lockdown has come in, it's not been so funny. Typical emails that, I mean, these are my emails that I've been getting. So I get an email from Amazon. I get everything delivered, as I'm sure most people do at the moment. I didn't click on the link directly, but I could have done. It looked legitimate. I didn't click on the link where my Apple ID was locked. I don't know who Ali Horn is, so I didn't click on this link either. Now, I'm not clicking on these links because I have a bit of cyber intelligence. And what's gratifying to see across all the social networks now are actual examples of these phishing emails that are coming through to just individuals, not corporations, just individuals. So we're all educating each other. So we are all actually helping together get past these type of phishing emails. I didn't log into PayPal. I didn't unlock my account from Amazon. I didn't actually find out if this person was dressed appropriately or not. And the lovely blackmail email I got through saying they've been watching me on my webcam. The joke's on you. I had my webcam cover on. So it is all getting very, very silly. And it is getting very, very serious. And now it's dangerous. Because these sorts of emails are official emails telling you that your Office 365 account is about to be locked, telling you that you have emails in quarantine. You need to do your job. We're all working from home, those of us that can. We rely on email to get everything done. If email stops, our productivity drops to ridiculous rates. So we have to pay attention to what's going on. But this email and this email that led to this login window, Office 365 standard window, or this window, Office 365, again, a standard window you're logging on to. No difference from where you would normally log on. All of these are fake. So the emails that came through were either account takeovers or spoof domains, and the logins that you actually see on your screen at the present moment in time are all fake logins. One of them quite famous being the MicrosoftOnline.com. Now, if you are suffering from a directed spear phishing attack, so the malicious actors have done a bit of reconnaissance, if your Office 365 doesn't look like that, it's going to be a direct screen scrape from your company. So your Office 365 login is going to look exactly as it would. And the emails that are sent to you pre-populate the username. So just one less thing to check. I've got quarantine emails that I need to release because there's money involved. We're coming to the end of the quarter. I've got to get this sorted. I'm going to click on the link. Why would I not? I do get these emails through officially. If my name is already populated on there, okay, then I will assume nothing's wrong and just log in. And that means that my credentials have now been taken. My credentials have been taken. My account gets taken over. What happens when your account gets taken over? Well, nothing. Nothing immediately. If the malicious actors are paying attention, they'll just be reading through your emails to find out who the important people are in your organization, to find out the tone of the email that comes through. So you must do this immediately. Oh my God, there's such a sense of security. I need to rush to get this done. These are the issues that we have. We're all a little bit more stressed. We're all working from home. We're all more vulnerable. Am I scaremongering? Yes, absolutely. It's after all this, then it's not I jump forward ahead then. After all this, then it's not surprising that companies are being hacked. Now, there's additional security that you can have. You can have multi-factor authentication. So again, you log in, so a malicious actor will get your username. You put your password in, a malicious actor will get your password, and then your phone gets sent a text, and you then log in. So that's additional security. So obviously your login here will fail. Brilliant, absolutely fantastic. Unless you've been ravaged by a rampant kitten. I've waited my entire life to say that phrase. Rampant kitten, and again, is a particularly nasty malware campaign that's going on at the present moment in time. Our guys over at Checkpoint Research discovered this a while ago, 18th of September. It's 2020, isn't it? So 18th of September was last year. Can't remember when that was. The thing is, though, that this is specifically designed to grab your identification details and authentication details. So rampant kitten, I'm going to say rampant kitten as many times as I possibly can. I'm sure we just make up these names so I get to come on a WebEx and go, rampant kitten, especially being savaged by a rampant kitten, but I'll calm down. The malware was actually designed to run on PCs. And it was designed to run on PCs in a standard credential harvesting attack, so usernames and passwords. But there was another stage to this malware designed to run on Android phones. It just sits on the phone itself, doesn't do anything other than look out for MFA authentication codes. So this is malware that's designed to run on a PC for one part of your authentication, pardon me, and an Android phone for another part of authentication. So it's not surprising with all this going on that we have the Twitter hack that happened earlier this year, with 40 major accounts were compromised, and the likes of Bill Gates and Elon Musk were offering out Bitcoins just to hand back money to the community. It would be nice if that happens, and I'm sure that it does, but not in this case. So again, another reminder that this is not a secure environment in any way, shape or form, especially when we find out the Twitter hack was reportedly done by this guy, 17-year-old from Hillsborough, who was locked down at home, bored, didn't know what to do, thought he'd have a go, and was successful. Now, this was the cause of a spear phishing attack against just 2 individuals. So one individual not paying attention for a couple of seconds, clicks on a link, and this happens. This is how actual scary this gets. I am genuinely trying to worry you into doing something about your SaaS security. I've never done this before. Usually it's a case of advising people. But the spear phishing and the accidental phishing attacks that I have seen over the past 6 months, it's scary stuff. And we're going to have to change adages like give a man a fish for a day, and give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day, turning it into teach a man to fish and he'll empty your bank account. That's the only phishing one I could think of, Liz. It was close enough. But it is. And all these bank accounts are being emptied. As Liz was saying, the products that we have can protect you against this, but this is hundreds of millions of dollars that are being taken out of account by just 1 or 2 emails that just get through. So if you are suffering from a spear phishing attack, a couple of hundred emails a day, a couple of 100,000 emails a day, it just takes one person to click on the link, go to a web page, the account's taken over, and now the malicious actors are inside your network. Pardon me. So we're all moving to the cloud. So this is obviously the 90% of the email attacks is completely understandable. And you can't just lift up your security and shove it in the cloud. Your Exchange server is no longer on your internal network or in your data center. Your file server is no longer in your internal network or in your data center. Your CRM application is out on the web. Everything's out on SaaS. It's easier to use, but it's also easier to hack. It's easier to take over. Again, all sat at home, more vulnerable than we ever have been. So we can't just lift and shift. A lot of the security that we have on the web doesn't actually scan internal threats. Remember those account takeovers. And of course, the actual security itself is visible to attackers. So if I wanted to attack, or I wanted to send a spear phishing attack, I'd open up an Office 365 account with, say, 2 email addresses. I'd have an E5 account. I'd run full ATP, and I could actually practice. I actually do have an Office 365 account with 2 email addresses, but I'm not using it for practice. But you can see here that security isn't easily moved from one medium to another. We have to pay attention to what's going on. So there literally has to be a better way to secure all these SaaS applications.
The good news is, Gethin, there is. And if you'd be kind enough to stop sharing, I can take everyone through how we would combat these kind of attacks that you've very kindly referenced.
Thank you very much, Adi. I knew there would be someone out there to save me from this nightmare.
So at Checkpoint, we have a technology called CloudGuard SaaS. It provides really comprehensive protection for both cloud-native email and productivity suites. We talk about bulletproof security that catches what our peers and those native security controls within services like Office 365 and G Suite miss. And CloudGuard SaaS represents or provides customers with a phenomenal TCO in that with a single license, we provide an easy-to-use platform, including all of our security functionality. So if I can get my slide deck to move forward. Come on, I know you want to. There we go.
Damn, I thought you'd be open to heckling.
Not yet, maybe later. I'm going to kick off by talking about how we provide that, what we term as complete protection. So CloudGuard SaaS protects organizations from all attacks in real time and stopping them from ever reaching users. It's a super comprehensive solution which addresses the key business challenges that we see customers facing when migrating to cloud email. And as Gethin has already referenced, we're talking about things like targeted phishing and business email compromise, stopping malware from entering that environment or tenant, ensuring that the people logging into these services are who they say they are, and we're preventing accounts from being compromised. And lastly, we're able to ensure that no sensitive data leaves that file store or email environment. But I wanted to start off by focusing specifically on business email compromise and phishing, given the great presentation that Gethin has just taken you through. Come on. There we go. So we're able to block sophisticated social engineering attacks such as employee impersonation, zero-day or targeted phishing, and we do that using machine learning engines. To provide some examples of the kinds of indicators that we're looking at. For example, in this email, we can see that the address is suspicious, or at least not genuine. The attachment was deemed as malicious, and I'll dig into how we handle malicious attachments in a moment. We actually sandbox links within emails, in addition now providing something called CTUP, click time URL protection. This feature ensures that emails containing malicious links can't trick unsuspecting users into giving up corporate credentials or other forms of personal information. And we do it by rewriting every link in an incoming email. And what CloudGuard SaaS does is ensures that any time a user clicks on it, we can inspect it in real time to account for any changes to that URL's reputation. We're also checking the language used in the body of an email, for example, looking to see if it's trying to create a sense of urgency, indicating that it's not a genuine, for example, request to reset your Office 365 login credentials. We actually look at over 300 of these unique indicators on a single email, and by running those indicators through our machine learning engines to determine if it's malicious, we're able to come back with a verdict in milliseconds. Coming back to the topic of malicious attachments, we're able to prevent them from getting to users' mailboxes without impacting business productivity. The goal for us here at Checkpoint is always prevention first. Our anti-malware architecture pivots around two core security patterns: threat emulation to open content in a controlled environment, a second-generation CPU-level sandbox to detect malicious behavior, and then secondly, threat extraction to proactively sanitize documents with no delays or impact to business productivity. We achieve this through something called CDR, content disarm and reconstruction, essentially removing any active code from documents. In that scenario, we've got a couple of options. You can either retain the original file format. For example, if the user sends an Excel, they'll receive an Excel. Or for a high level of security, we can actually flatten that file to a PDF. Now, interestingly, across our threat extraction technology globally, customer analysis indicates that at around 2% of instances, users do require access to that original document. In that scenario, that's fine though. The solution is entirely self-catered with no intervention from a help desk required. Within the email, the user just simply clicks on a link, and providing, of course, that the file is benign post-emulation, they can get access to that original document or file. Moving to DLP, how do we ensure that sensitive employee or customer data doesn't end up in the wrong hands? Well, within CloudGuard SaaS, security admins are able to really simply create granular DLP policies and controls. We actually have over 700 predefined templates and support custom data types within CloudGuard SaaS now. And the DLP engines examine every element of an outbound email or file upload, and based upon whatever policy you guys would like to set, we can either notify or stop that information from leaving the organization. Of course, that's a super important capability in today's highly regulated world. Moving to identity and access management, how do we ensure that the people logging into these SaaS services are who they say they are and prevent sophisticated account takeover attacks? Well, we do this by leveraging our ID Guard technology. The first thing we do is integrate with your identity provider and augment the authentication process in one of three ways: agent-based multi-factor authentication, agentless MFA, and anomaly detection. With the agent covering Windows, Apple, and Android devices, we are tying the user, device, authentication provider, and the SaaS application together. However, we go a little further in it. We can also risk profile the device that the user is logging in from, and based upon a number of parameters, for example, is the device connected to a fake or bad Wi-Fi hotspot, or has it been compromised by malware, we can then apply a conditional access policy to the SaaS application. Without the agent, we're still able to provide that MFA via SMS and email. And again, going further here, though, through anomaly detection, we're able to identify and block suspicious logins based upon how they connect and geolocation. For example, something like Impossible Travel, a user logs into the SaaS application in London and then 30 minutes later tries to log into their Office 365 account in Eastern Europe or China. We can block that second login on some pretty strong intelligence that it's someone trying to compromise that account. Also, through anomaly detection, we're able to notify security administrators of things like suspicious mail forwarding rules. For example, in a recent POC we ran for one of our customers, we found out that the user was forwarding all of their mail onto a personal Gmail account. As it turns out, the genuine Microsoft Office 365 corporate email account had been compromised and was taken over. So, in summary, by enhancing identity protection and augmenting multi-factor authentication through CloudGuard SaaS, it means Gethin can now stop referring to his rampant kittens.
Rampant kitten!
I wanted to touch on next a bit about how CloudGuard SaaS provides bulletproof security that catches essentially what everyone else misses. It would be remiss of me not to mention that CloudGuard SaaS forms part of a much wider enterprise security architecture we have at Checkpoint, something we call Infinity. It's the glue that holds security transformation together, covering all major attack surfaces and providing that consolidated management experience and actionable threat visibility, intelligence and orchestration across entire organizations. What I did want to highlight is how we leverage that shared threat intelligence across the platform and how it specifically enhances the protections that we provide within CloudGuard SaaS. So, one of the most prominent capabilities that Checkpoint brings to its customers is one of the world's largest threat intelligence databases in our Threat Cloud service. Threat Cloud is constantly updated with new threat information from our worldwide network of over 1 million sensors, so endpoints and mobile devices, third-party feeds, Checkpoint's own nearly 1,500 strong threat research teams, and of course our worldwide network of gateways. At Checkpoint, we monitor over a third of the world's internet traffic, and Threat Cloud actually has more daily queries now than Google. Why is that scale important? Well, it means we only need to see something once across our entire install base of technology, not just CloudGuard SaaS. For example, if we identify a new strain of malware or a new targeted phishing campaign through our zero-day phishing technology, all of our customers and their users are protected in real time. CloudGuard SaaS is the only email security solution tested and proven to have the industry's best malware catch rates, a statement that's backed up by independent third-party testing by an organisation called NSS Labs. In their most recent breach prevention systems test, which was late last year, our prevention capabilities proved to be absolutely second to none. And in the context of email security, we scored 100% efficacy with no false positives. This really speaks to our prevention first methodology that I've referenced already, and something we're super proud of to achieve here at Checkpoint.
I think this is absolutely everything that we've been talking about in the communications we've put out about this webinar. This is so important, because that 100% block rate is really the difference between attacks that could take down your business and not, in fact, isn't it?
Correct, Liz, and I have to give kudos to the folks in R&D here at Checkpoint. They've actually delivered an awesome service in CloudGuard SaaS that really is a true titan of email security and email protection. Thanks, Liz. Moving on to the services architecture and actually why it's quite important to provide email security in this way. As the solution is in line and delivers API-based protection, it allows us to scan not only inbound but outbound and also internal email communication in real time. As such, CloudGuard SaaS is able to train its algorithms on what native and MTA-based security solutions miss, with us always being the last line of defense. Also, due to its API-driven nature, it's actually invisible to attackers who can't identify what security solution you as our customers are using and test their campaigns against it. And of course, that API allows us to scan those internal threats in real time, unlike many MTA-based and email gateway solutions. Lastly, the solution itself starts working out of the box with minimal configuration required, which actually leads us quite nicely into its operational simplicity. The deployment is super easy. It's an automated 3-step process that I'm not joking when I say it literally takes minutes. We don't require any MX record changes. It starts working straight away and delivers results within an hour or two. Once it's configured, it actually starts to adjust itself automatically and doesn't require constant maintenance. And it's important to mention also that we will provide a retroactive scan for existing threats in email and file stores to ensure that we're starting from or starting with a clean slate from that point in time. Just to give you a quick view of the dashboard itself, we provide a really clear view at a high level of your overall security posture and the things that we're catching in this one really simple, easy to consume dashboard. At the top, we have the security events in an aggregated view by security blades or functions if you're not a Checkpoint person. In this example, we can see the email, the malware, phishing, shadow IT, DLP, and anomalies. These are all completely configurable, so you can adjust these to show you what's important to you. At a high level, we can also see the security events in a real-time feed view, login events shown in a map, and of course the applications that are actually integrated within CloudGuard SaaS. It's important to mention that each of these widgets is clickable and it opens up a drill down so you can actually dig into any of these for more information and more detail. So how do we provide that phenomenal TCO that I've referenced a number of times already? Well, CloudGuard SaaS is delivered via an all-you-can-eat licensing model that covers all features and productivity applications, and this does really represent good value for customers. If we compare ourselves to probably our biggest competitor in this space, currently Microsoft, you require either a super expensive E5 license or 4 or 5 different products to provide comparable functionality to CloudGuard SaaS. As an example, with Microsoft, you'd need their ATP solution, which is Advanced Threat Prevention. You'd need conditional access from Microsoft. You need something called MCAS, which is Microsoft's Cloud Application Security Platform. You'd need their advanced DLP service. And of course, lastly, you'd need Azure AD to provide that identity protection. So in summary, CloudGuard SaaS is that super comprehensive solution which addresses the business challenges our customers are facing that we see when they migrate to cloud email and productivity suites. We're able to prevent phishing and business email compromise through those machine learning engines and looking at over 300 indicators on a single email to determine if it's malicious or phishing. We're able to protect sensitive business information and maintain regulatory compliance with our advanced data loss prevention technology with those 700 predefined templates and support for custom data types. We're able to stop those sophisticated account takeover attacks by augmenting the authentication process with our ID Guard technology. We are, lastly, of course, able to block anything malicious getting into that environment and prevent that from getting to users' mailboxes without impacting business productivity by leveraging our threat emulation and threat extraction technology. And just to recap on bulletproof security, really we're referring here to that NSS Labs verified malware catch rate in threat emulation and threat extraction. And as a solution is delivered via API and in line with engines trained specifically on what Microsoft and Google miss, we can deliver a service that blocks 30% more than those native controls. And lastly, to touch on and recap around us providing that phenomenal TCO, it's down to that all-you-can-eat licensing model that covers all features and productivity applications. But we're also talking about operational simplicity. Here you can do everything from one super intuitive dashboard with granular actionable intelligence. And of course, as I mentioned, because the solution is API driven and delivered in line, we're able to deploy instantly and see results within hours, including retroactive scanning for existing malicious files and emails. So that's me. Thank you for listening, folks. I'm going to hand back over to Liz for a bit of moderation of questions, and I believe we've got a customer who's going to just talk a bit about their experiences in working with CloudGuard SaaS.
Before you do that, Adi, if you can stop sharing, if I could just share my screen for a few minutes.
Sure.
Okay. So let's see if I can just share the screen. Okay.
I also have a question for you that's been put in the chat, but we will come to that in a moment. Martin, I haven't forgotten about you. I will make sure we do that for you. Was
that regarding the NHS?
Mm.
Yes, absolutely. As long as you have an administrative account on there that does not have multi-factor authentication, then you can tie in Checkpoint CloudGuard SaaS into N365. The reason why I wanted to show my screen is because you may or may not have heard me mention about practicing to see if E5 accounts can actually protect your account from phishing attacks and everything else. So as you can see on the screen, this is actually my Office 365 protected by CloudGuard SaaS login. I've got two email accounts, as I said, and of course I've been firing some stuff through. And as you can see on here, I've been firing some phishing attacks on here. I've sent some malware through as well. These have sailed through. Now, of course, I've just been running the test. So obviously I'm going to try and craft things specifically to get through so I can show you guys and I can look good on camera. But while I was doing this as well, I'm also getting direct phishing attacks, as you can see with Netflix subscription coming through. This is just on 2 email accounts. Yes, I am running the Checkpoint 30-day trial. If you're interested in this, by the way, Lithify can help. But you can see on here the protections that Adi was talking about. It's not just any one thing. About 300 different protections in here. The email that Adi showed you was just a malware-ridden email with bad links and bad attachments. All these are picked up by CloudGuard SaaS. And of course, I'm not just protecting my Office 365, I'm looking after my OneDrive as well. You can also see on here that I got, so this is my motorbike insurance. This genuinely is my email account. I've got motorbike insurance come through on here. I've actually forwarded this out as I don't want to pay it this year. I want someone else to pay it for me. But DLP has picked up, and you can see the length of my testing on here. If I actually go through to the DLP, what triggered the DLP? That would be Norway personal names, Australian personal names, Canadian. I ticked literally everything on DLP so I could show you something in here. But this wasn't intentional. This was actually an accident. I forwarded it to the wrong email address. Again, CloudGuard SaaS trying to protect. And of course, you've also heard me mention about Rampant Kitten. I'll try and say it one day with a straight face. It is just a ridiculous name. please have a look at research.checkpoint.com. We've got loads of interesting information out there, a bit like your own personal horror story, depending on what's going on at any given time. And if you do Google rampant kitten, this thing comes up. So I just thought I'd end on that ridiculous picture of a cat and hand back to Liz. Thank you for listening.
Well, you've stolen all my thunder now with that picture. I mean, goodness, thank you so much for saying that. And also, I think you've pretty well answered that question about NHS mail, so thank you for that. That's very kind of you as well. I'm hoping that Marianne is still on the line. And actually, before I bring Marianne in, just one other customer has been running tests exactly like the ones that you were just describing, Geth. So he's running Microsoft 365 E3 with ATP, which they've had for some years. We've recently switched on CloudGuard SaaS for him, and because he was in that changeover period, he chose to leave ATP in place and add CloudGuard SaaS on alongside, and he's been absolutely blown away by the amount of stuff that just sails through ATP and is only then caught by CloudGuard SaaS, and it has been real eye-opening stuff and things that would have been very, very damaging. So I think we were able to grab him at the right moment, as it were. I should have a little case study coming out from him in the next few weeks, which, bless him, that particular customer literally was saying to us, I'll do a case study for you. This is dynamite. I really need other people to know. I'm happy to share my experiences. Send me the questions you want me to answer. So I've just done that for him. I'm expecting them back in the next couple of weeks, and I will share that document to the group when I have it. So that would be really good. Marianne, are you online still? I can see her there. I shall unmute her microphone.
Hello.
And see if else. Hello, hello, hello. How are you today?
Yes, I'm fine, thank you. And yeah, I'm happy to share my experience. I'm actually Marianne from, we are located in Abu Dhabi in UAE. So Lithify has helped us to migrate from our previous product to CloudGuard SaaS sometime earlier this year. And I've been really, really happy for the past few months, 6 months, especially during this COVID-19 situation. So previously, when we were using the previous product, there's a lot of phishing emails that actually slip through that was sent to our users. Things like mails from the bank posing, asking the user to click the link to unlock certain account, and they look really genuine if you don't read it properly. So since we have implemented CloudGuard SaaS, I've not had this problem at all. So I'm really, really happy. And on top of that, I'm also happy to have this anomaly detection, where the geo-suspicious anomalies that were detected if, let's say, a user has logged in the UAE and then less than an hour later log in somewhere else. So we got a notification from that. That is actually really helpful for us, and I'm really, really happy. And the dashboard is also very user-friendly. So this is something that I actually put on the screen every day, so to monitor that and to see if there's any events coming in and so on. So yeah, happy to recommend this product.
That is great to hear. Thank you, Marianne. Yeah. I'm glad that we've been able to do that for you, and I'm glad that it's working so well for you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Oh well, no, it's our pleasure for sure. I think when we first implemented for you, there were 1 or 2 accounts which their credentials had been harvested, but the hackers hadn't gone after the payload yet. But because you had CloudGuard SaaS, you were able to prevent those next steps from happening, I think, as well.
Correct. That's what happened. And also during the initial implementation, because our email system was an on-premise exchange system at the time, we were in the midst of migrating to Office 365. So during the initial implementation, I think there was some false positive because the system thinks that the emails from the on-premise exchange were actually a phishing email. So we had that problem, but the team were very fast to detect that and fix that. And after that, it was all good. So even while we were migrating mailboxes from the on-prem exchange to Office 365, we are still able to use the CloudGuard SaaS, and it works fine.
Brilliant. That's
Yeah.
great to hear. That's excellent. Excellent. Is that your dog, Martin? And I'm so glad that it's somebody else's dog that barks, because normally it's mine, and I've sent him out for his daily walk at this time deliberately so that it wasn't me.
It's not a proper WebEx unless there's a dog barking or a child in the background.
Indeed.
Yeah, that was my fault. Sorry.
No, don't worry. We all have real lives, and it's great that you're with us. So don't worry at all. We're very, very dog friendly at Lithify, so no problem. Marianne, thank you very much for that. It's great to hear you speak about that in that way, because these things are just so targeted now. It really does cause tremendous problems. So thank you so much for being here this morning. That's super.
You're most welcome.
Oh, there he is. Look, you see the little dog. How cute. Marvellous. So there were just, are there any more questions that anybody would like to raise? It would be great if there were. Please feel free. I can't see any more in the chat, but if anybody would like to just, oh wait, hang on. I've just seen one in the chat. Oh, Richard says it sounds like the dog spotted a rampant kitten. Well, there we go. You see, that's marvellous, isn't it? We got to say rampant kitten one more time, didn't we? Are there any more questions at all? No, I think we're okay from there. I think the one thing I did want to say before we close out really is that you would imagine with such a comprehensive product that the deployment timescale is long and complex. And actually it doesn't need to be. We're now able to deploy CloudGuard SaaS through the cloud portal on Checkpoint, which means that we really don't have to interfere with core systems, firewalls, all of your core array at all, really. It's an API plugin that works with these served applications, so whether that's Office 365, Google G Suite, Salesforce, ServiceNow, there's a bunch of them, all covered by this one license. So actually it makes it very, very quick and easy to deploy. As I've already mentioned, in some customer cases, we've implemented it in line with other products as well. So again, if you want to get that sort of belt and braces approach and see it working without exposing yourself totally, then we can do that too. So from that perspective, that helps very, very well. AD just mentioned as well about the free trial, and again, we're very, very happy to put those together for you. So it is something that literally we can spin up very, very quickly. You can see it working. You can evaluate whether it's appropriate for you before you actually move forward. So that's a 30-day license. So that's well worth knowing about. Martin is asking, how is it priced?
But may interrupt her up there for a second. It's completely non-intrusive when you actually do the trial. So when you initially set this up, the first security rule in CloudGuard SaaS is any detect. So your users won't know it's running. It won't affect the productivity of your users that may or may not be stuck at home at the present moment in time. But it's a great way to see what's actually coming through here. And the way things are going at the moment, we can practically guarantee that you will have some phishing email picked up by CloudGuard SaaS that isn't picked up by anything else. It's amazing that we actually be able to get to say these things. This is not marketing or sales. This will actually happen. We've had CloudGuard SaaS protecting 2 massive learning organisations in the north and south of the country, and the phishing attacks that we've seen coming through, very sophisticated phishing attacks with multiple links. So the initial phishing protection will see the first link as a legitimate web page. Then there's a hidden link underneath that web page that takes you through to another one and another one and another one. And it does go on exponentially. This is the reason why I've changed my attitude. It's no longer a case of security is a good idea. In the SaaS world, security is becoming a necessity. And of course, it's all down to cost as well and productivity. You have to balance the two together. Otherwise, your users are going to try and find a way around your own security. CloudGuard SaaS will do all this for you.
Great. I've got another couple of little questions here for you. Oh, they're not little questions, actually. They're still, they're important. How is the model priced? So if somebody were to decide to move forward with CloudGuard SaaS, how would that be priced, Gethin? Would you like to take that one?
No, I'd like to pass that over to AD because he's my account manager and I'm just a security agent.
I was waiting for you to throw that one over the fence, mate. The pricing model for CloudGuard SaaS is really, really simple. It's based upon essentially users, the number of users within your organisation. We don't charge for shared mailboxes.
So that's dead straightforward. And that one price per user covers all applications. So if in a customer's array they are using, say, Office 365 with ServiceNow, they just pay the one price, don't they, Aid?
Correct. It covers all productivity applications that we support and all of the security capabilities that we have. It's that all-you-can-eat license.
Excellent. And another little question for you. Can the trial be implemented remotely? I was saying it was easy to do, but, you know, I'm a commercial person and the techies hate it when I say something's easy to do because then they take me outside and throttle me. So can the trial be implemented remotely, please?
Yes. Absolutely, 100%. Everything's remote these days. The only main caveat on this at the present moment in time is because CloudGuard SaaS is a computer talking to Office 365, which is just a computer. The account that you use to onboard cannot have MFA against it because, of course, the computer is not going to be able to type in a text to a mobile phone. Later on in the year, we will be removing this requirement so that you can tie this in even more seamlessly than it is at the present moment in time. Very simple, very quick, and yes, of course, completely remote.
Excellent. We're actually doing so many product implementations remotely now, and even doing firewall implementations where all of the work has been done remotely, the configuration has been done in our labs, and then we're sending the appliances out and just having people be remote hands and eyes to actually put them in the racks and so on. So certainly with Office 365 and the endpoint products, SandBlast Agent and SandBlast Mobile are all for sure implementable remotely, aren't they? So works very, very well. Okay, I think that is all the questions we have, unless anybody would like to either raise their hand or pop something in the chat. Does CloudGuard SaaS work with mobiles?
If I may, bear with me a second.
That's a great question. You see, I can see his smiling face.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Right. Okay. Do you know what? So many WebExes, and I still struggle to find the share screen or mute button. Right, bear me a second on here.
So if you go up to the top of the screen, there you go. You've got it.
You got it. You got my screen on here. So I was talking about identity protection. Yes, we do have this for mobiles. We actually have the ID guard. So if we have a look at downloads on here, obviously we've got the identity provider plugin. We've got the PC agents as well. As you can see, I've got one down here on my machine. So we're actually authenticating the machines as well. So it's not just a case of a username and a password and MFA. It's username, password, MFA, and a physical device. And we have mobile agents down here. Now, the mobile agents is a product called SandBlast Mobile. This is a light version of SandBlast Mobile. So you can also authenticate the mobile devices. But what the mobile agent will also do is take a risk of your mobile phone. It will be able to check out to see if you have got any malware installed. If you have, and the risk is high on the actual device, it will not allow you to connect. The administrator will get an alert. You will get an alert on the device, which means that you're also securing the devices that are attaching to your SaaS accounts. Obviously, this is a cut-down version of our product called SandBlast Mobile. It's incorporated into CloudGuard SaaS. And there's no management for this, so you can't mitigate the risk on the phone. If you want to do that, please talk to Liz. She'll talk to the other products that we do bundling in. It's part of our Beyond the Perimeter team that Adi and myself are part of. But yes, we do this on mobiles.
For sure, and the mobile product is brilliant. I've just started mine up to do a scan, but we are very much for eating our own dog food at Lithify. We don't just recommend products that we then don't bother to use ourselves. So, you know, in fact, mine's just running a scan. It's just looking at all my apps, and it works terrifically well. I've got to say, actually, it just sits in the background. It doesn't affect the performance of the mobile. As a user, unless you actually click on the button and go and interrogate it, you would never know it was there. It's just protecting you and keeping you safe without you having to think about it. So I am sure we will do a webinar on that product in the next couple of months. So
Oh, cool.
Yeah, you'll come back and do that for me, won't you, Gareth? That would be brilliant.
Invite me back. No one's ever done that before.
You can tell that we've worked together for a very long time, can't you, everyone? So yes, it certainly works extremely well. And as a product family, when you consider the endpoint product, which obviously protects your laptop or your desktop, the mobile product, which I've just mentioned, and CloudGuard SaaS, as a triumvirate, if you like, they work brilliantly. And actually, if you've got remote users at the moment, or if you've got people working from home, maybe they've got apps on their mobiles and so on, as we all have, then it really does create that very solid foundation for you, which is terrific. So I think we've pretty well covered everything that we hoped to discuss this morning. Please talk to your account manager if you have any further questions that you didn't want to raise here or which occur to you later. A recorded version of this webinar will be available on our blog in the next couple of days, should you wish to go back and look at certain sections again. So please look out for that. I will share that customer testimonial with you when I get it, which is coming through soon. And if you'd like to organise a free trial, do just let us know and we will get that organised for you. It really doesn't take very long at all. So there we are. So I'd really like to thank Gethin, Adi Ringrose, and also Marianne Wong for being with us. I am really thrilled that they were able to join and share their insights because, you know, that really makes it real for everyone. So thank you very much for doing that. And thank you to everyone who's been with us this morning. It's great to have your company and to share the details of these products with you. So thank you very much, everyone.
Thanks, Rose. Much appreciated. Thank you for the invite.
Take care. Bye for now, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Martin.